Fuck man, I want one of these. Can I get an 8-in-1 soybean machine? Shit. Good evening everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Celeste La Cabra. November is Black Friday month and Vinegar Syndrome is doing their biggest sale of the year. Good evening everyone, my name is Celeste La Cabra, welcome back to the channel. The long-awaited biggest Vinegar Syndrome event of the year, their Black Friday sale, is at the tail end of this month I believe. And so that means we're not going to get any Vinegar Syndrome proper announcements until then. But to tide us over in the meantime, we do have 11 new partner label titles to talk about. So yeah, we're just going to kind of run through them. I'm going to give you my reaction, read a bit about them to you, and hopefully we'll learn something together. So I'm logged into my account, so you're going to see subscriber prices, but it'll be like, I think it's the exchange is $8 more for non-subscribers across the board. So hopefully you can do that math. Okay. So first from Factory 25, we have White Reindeer. Now there's a few Christmas films in here, which is interesting to me because I'm pretty sure that partner labels get more announcements in December, but you know, maybe Factory 25 doesn't have one coming out, so that actually probably makes sense. Suzanne, a successful realtor living in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. with her weatherman husband Jeff, is on top of the world as she prepares for Christmas, her favorite time of year. Things take a turn, however, when she comes home one day to find her husband brutally murdered. Rip. To cope with her overwhelming grief, Suzanne takes off from work at the suggestion of her colleagues. Probably a good idea. In the ensuing days, she tracks down a young stripper named Fantasia. That's a good name. With whom Jeff had a long-term relationship. Like earlier? Or while they were dating? That's kind of whack. Whatever. And the two begin to bond over their mutual loss. Yeah, that's a bummer. Through her relationship with Fantasia, Suzanne begins to cut loose, joining the stripper on escapades of drugs, clubbing, and shoplifting. Okay, it's directed by Zach Clark. It's from 2013 at 82 minutes. Comes with a commentary, deleted scenes, something called An Endless Fireplace. Neat. A short film. An uncensored trailer. Okay. And a booklet. I couldn't find this anywhere to stream because I am interested in this, but not quite enough to blind buy it. It kind of strikes me as a similar premise to Morven Caller, the Lynn Ramsey film, about a kind of similar situation. So I'm definitely intrigued by it, but please let me know if you know anything about this and if you recommend it. Oh, that one was limited to 1,000 units, and I think there's like 850 left or something like that. As of the time that I'm recording this, which is about 2 p.m. The day of. From Connie, we have Sellout. Limited to 1,000 units. Stingy this time around. That's not that weird. Phony Corporation, that's very subtle, has just promoted doe-eyed Eric Tan to the head of product design, and he's already invented a revolutionary 8-in-1 soybean machine. Taste the silken tofu, the creamy soy milk, the crispy bean curd. It just has one reprehensible flaw. No flaws. Fuck man, I want one of these. Can I get an 8-in-1 soybean machine? Shit. I am a soy boy at heart, and that would just enrich my life to a considerable degree. The lack of a built-in breakdown mechanism appalls the conglomerate's two-man executive branch who resorts to a budget exorcism to solve their problem named Eric. Also under the axe is Phony TV's 11 ruthless hosts Reflexia Pong? That's a cool name. Whose specialty arts program is overshadowed by an increasingly popular art form, reality TV. Determined to claw her way back up to the top, she lands on a morbid concept that finds an ally in the divided product manager. Long-awaited, or long and unavailable musical Sellout is presented here both in its Venice and director's cuts alongside the original soundtrack of earworm musical numbers. Yeah, this sounds really good. There's not a lot of people that appear to have seen it, and it's really hard to find. It's from 2008. You get 2 cuts of the film. You get a bunch of archival and new interviews. You get a video essay, you get a commentary, you get a booklet, and you get a CD. This thing is stacked. Shit, I'm really tempted to just go ahead and order this because it looks really fun and interesting, and I'm really a big fan of like when world cinema is just kind of like unearthed finally, and we like get to finally see it for the first time, you know, outside of the country or outside of the release date. If anybody knows anything about this and can just go ahead and recommend it to me or give me an excuse to buy it, feel free. But I would like to watch it before I buy it, but I can't find anywhere to do that, unfortunately. Okay, next from Canadian International Pictures is Minefield. This one's limited to 2,000, and we got 1,781 left. So, moving units relatively quickly. The war is on for brain control. In the long shadow of an experimental CIA mind control program, Sergeant Kellen O'Reilly begins experiencing violent flashbacks of his treatments at the hands of the sinister Dr. Sartorius. When the body count on his latest case inexplicably begins pointing towards his own fragmented past, a romance with Sartorius' criminal prosecutor raises the stakes. O'Reilly must forge a path forward through a Hall of Mirrors conspiracy stretching from the Mafia to the highest levels of the CIA, culminating in a shocking stadium-sized confrontation. Region A only, that's interesting. Scanned and restored in 4K from the 35 interpositive. Okay. Audio commentary, interviews, I guess that's another interview, and a booklet. I was really into Canadian International Pictures for a hot second because it looked like they were doing a lot of like independent art house dramas and comedies, that kind of thing. But they seem to have taken a hard turn into like the kind of, I don't know, B horror sci-fi like genre pictures that so many of these sublabels already cover. You know, congrats to them. I mean, that Amityville film sold out pretty fast, so I'm glad that they're finding some success, but I'm not really interested in this, and I watched the Amityville film that they released last month, and that thing was terrible, so I don't know. For a second, I was kind of wanting to collect all of them, but I don't trust them as much these days, I guess. But if this is incredible and you've seen it, please let me know. It didn't have the warmest reception from what I looked at, but I mean, I'll keep an open mind field. Next is Mind, Body, and Soul. We got two Mind films back to back from Culture Shock. 2000 is the limit on this, and we got 1776. I feel like that year is significant for some reason. I don't know. All Brenda wants is a normal life with a normal boyfriend. Ugh, same. But no. But she soon finds that her boyfriend is anything but normal. He's part of a satanic cult that makes human sacrifices. That sounds a lot more exciting than the average boyfriend, to be completely honest with you. I don't know, it's more exciting than like hunting or golf. And it's probably more ethical. A police interrupted ritual at the cult's demonic temple lands Brenda in jail. Oh no! Upon release, she has to pick up the pieces of her shattered life with the help of a protective lawyer, a hardened detective, and her old cellmate. But the cult hasn't forgotten Brenda. They will stop at nothing to silence her forever. Shit, man. That's a bummer. Full-length commentary with the director, Rick Sloan. I mean, I know that this is like sleazy softcore, but that really sounds like a porn director. Interviews. Yeah. I mean, there's an amount of special features here. That picture is pretty sick. This artwork is a little cheesy for my taste, but it's pretty alright, I guess. This didn't have the warmest reception either when I looked into it, and it doesn't really look like my kind of thing. I don't know, like the Satanic Panic thing. I've read that this is really just like a lot of nudity and silliness, and it's probably a fun one-time watch, but I can't find anywhere to stream it, so I'm probably going to give that one a miss. From Utopia, Jane by Charlotte. 920 left in stock, limited to 1,000 units. Charlotte Gainsbourg looks at her mother, Jane Birkin, in a way she never did, overcoming a sense of reserve. Using a camera lens, they expose themselves to each other, begin to step back, leaving space for a mother-daughter relationship. It's directed by Charlotte Gainsbourg. Region A, Q&A with Jim Jarmusch. Okay. And her, Q&A, and a booklet. So, you know, it's a lower price point because there's not really a lot to it, I guess. But this is from 2021 at 88 minutes in French. This looks very intriguing to me. I'm really into these kind of intimate documentary portrayal sort of deals. This really strikes me to be similar to like something like Chantal Akerman would do. Specifically, I think her film No Home Movie is like the same premise of this. So maybe this is like a kind of homage to that of sorts. I don't know. But I was reading some reviews of this, and it seems as though you have to have a pretty good working knowledge of these people going into it. And I know who they are. Like, I know who Charlotte Gainsbourg is, but I've not looked into her personal life or really even seen that many of her films. So again, this is probably one I'd have to either become a big fan of these people first or just watch the film and see what I think. Yeah, not for me right now. From Darkstar, The Icarus Line Must Die. There's some pretty sick artwork. Limited to 1,000 units, 923 left in stock. The Icarus Line Must Die is a dramatic narrative feature set against the backdrop of the current LA underground music scene. The film tracks Joe Cardamone, frontman of notorious punk bad boys, the Icarus Line, as he navigates his way through the ups and downs of the modern music landscape. With a new record completed and a major label deal within sight, Joe fights to keep his band, his relationship, and his life from completely falling apart. Ariel Pink, whack. Keith Morris, neat. Other dudes in bands, and a bunch of bands are in it too. Cool. 2017, 82 minutes. Audio commentary, some scenes, deleted scenes, I guess. What's the difference between a deleted scene and an unreleased scene? I don't know. And an essay and some tour photographs. Okay, I was reading this and I was like, that seems kind of interesting, I guess, because I didn't realize that the Icarus Line was a real band, which maybe is kind of embarrassing considering that post-hardcore is probably my favorite genre. I don't know. These older ones, a lot of them kind of slipped by me, I guess. And I hadn't heard of this band, but I looked at it and they're a real band, so I am interested in this. It's streaming on Tubi, so I'd have to watch it there first, I think. But I'd also have to listen to their music first to kind of get some kind of context to what I'm watching. Let's put a pin in that one for now. From ETR Media, I Think We're Alone Now. I'm a fan of this cover. It's really cool. 896 in stock from a run of 1,000. This feature documentary is an intimate portrait of two people who are deeply in love with the 80s pop singer Tiffany. Jeff Turner is a 50-year-old man from Santa Cruz, California with Asperger's syndrome. He has a very friendly and childlike spirit and can talk to anybody for hours on end, but finds it difficult to maintain relationships and has never had a girlfriend. He has been attending Tiffany concerts since 1988 and describes her as his best friend, mentor, and protector. Kelly McCormick is a 35-year-old intersex person from Denver, Colorado who identifies as a lesbian. I really appreciate the wording there. It's very clear as to what's going on, and it's not assigning an identity or labels to this person. It's putting her own identity at the forefront rather than assigning one to her. I really appreciate that. She loves running, watching action movies, and doing impressions. She sounds fun. She has also never been in a romantic relationship, but says that she loves Tiffany down to her bone marrow. Both Jeff and Kelly have been called stalkers by the media and other Tiffany fans, but this film allows them to share their side of the story. Filmed over the course of 6 years, I Think We're Alone Now takes you deep into their lives and shows the power of having something to believe in. 2008, 61 minutes. I find this fascinating that they actually have 3 commentary tracks, one from each of the subjects that this film is about, and one from the director. I've never seen anything like that. That's so cool. We have some updates on them. Just lots of stuff here. It looks really cool, honestly. This fascinates me, and I'm really interested in this. It's really short, and it's streaming on Tubi, so I'm going to watch it there first, just to make sure I want it, but pretty sure I do. This seems like a really fascinating portrayal of some really misunderstood people who are also probably in some ways problematic, but I think this kind of intimate and compassionate portrayal of people who are neurodivergent, who behave in ways that society deems inappropriate, is a really valuable document and kind of enterprise to embark on. Next, from Saturn's Core, The Good Book, 2,000 units, 1859 left. In the near future, the world's population is forced to stay confined in their homes at all times. Do I even say that? No, let's move on. Due to the depleting ozone layer, those that venture outdoors quickly devolve into zombie-like mutant outsiders. Wow. The GVC agency provides all complying citizens with their communication and entertainment needs through the government-regulated internet. Okay. Joseph Cyrus is a door-to-door PC repairman forced to brave the perils of the outside world in order to keep his GVC clients fully connected. During his travels, Joseph soon begins seeing visions of a godlike being that urges him to destroy the internet using a homemade virus. Is Joseph losing his sanity, serving the whims of a higher power, or being tricked by the world's greatest trickster? Those are the options. This didn't have the warmest reception to it, and not a lot of people have seen it at all, but after really diving into the description here, I mean, come on, prescient doesn't even begin to describe it, right? That's pretty fascinating. New commentary, making of documentary, feature-length documentary, I love that, I love that. Okay, and then a bunch of stuff that seems... Oh, there's 3 short films. Shit, this is a pretty stacked edition. It's got some cool artwork, too. I don't know, I'd really love to hear something about this first, though. If any of you happen to have seen this uber-obscure, shot-on-video sci-fi venture, hit me up. Tell me what it's like. Is it any good? Is it worth $20? I need your help on this one. The films of Doris Wishman, The Daylight Years. I can't show you the front cover of this because there's a, you know, prepare yourself, all right? This is pretty heinous stuff. I'm honestly shocked that a upstanding company like Vinegar Syndrome would allow something like this on their website. But there are female presenting nipples. I know, I know. If you need to take a minute to collect yourself, please do. But like soldiers we are, we're going to keep on going. I hope we can sense the facetiousness just dripping onto the microphone right now. Heaven forbid someone see a breast. Jesus fucking Christ. Limited to 5,000 units. And it's volume 3 and the final volume, I believe, of these, yeah, 3-part set. Doris Wishman made movies. One of the most prolific women filmmakers in the history of American cinema. Writer, director, editor Wishman created collisions between surrealism and exploitation that feel like they materialize from an alternate universe. This surveys the early sun-soaked nudist era of Wishman's career, from Nude on the Moon to Hideout in the Sun. AGFA and Something Weird are honored to present these effervescent DIY treasures in gorgeous new restorations. From 1960 to 1965 at 428 minutes. Nude on the Moon and Blaze Star Goes Nudist. Some commentaries. Okay. Hideout in the Sun and Gentlemen Prefer Nature Girls. Perhaps. Some of the same stuff there. Diary of a Nudist and The Prince and the Nature Girl. Okay, so like all of this stuff looks pretty interesting to me. I think some of her films are streaming on the Criterion channel actually. So I'd like to like get into her stuff a little bit before I just go and drop like what's 35 times 3, like upwards of $100, a little over $100 on these sets, you know. But it's interesting that this came out last because this is her early period. So it's interesting. I don't know, nudie cutie set, that kind of thing. Sounds like your kind of jam. Hit that up. I'm sure you want it if you have the first two. Altered Innocence, Elisa. I hope. 876 left out of a run of 1,000. With beautiful cover art. Holy shit, look at this. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I love this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've looked into it, but I want it mainly on the strength of that cover art. Holy fucking shit. Vanessa Paradis. What a lovely name. It stars as the alienated and angry Marie. I wonder what that's like. I couldn't possibly relate to that. Living as a smart aleck teenager street hustler. Okay, well, I'm not that cool. Burdened by the rage brought upon by the suicide of her emotionally fragile mother. The titular Elisa is played by Florence Thomason. Marie's fury inspires her to track down and kill the man who abandoned her and her mother in the first place. Her father, Jacques, played by iconic French superstar Gerard Depardieu. What unfolds is a poignant and desperate plea for tolerance and acceptance, where tragedy and angst can unwind and be replaced by forgiveness and love. Directed by Jean Becker, who is unfortunately a man. I don't know, I think these types of films are more interesting when they're directed by women. Typically. Don't come at me for that. Typically. But, Region A, The Body Isn't the Soul, Isolation, Identity, and Love, and Jean Becker's Elisa, video essay by Sally Christie, and just standard stuff at the end there. I watched this trailer. I don't know. I'm like kind of, like as a film, it looks like it's probably good, but I don't know how badly I need it. But I do kind of know how badly I need this fucking slipcover artwork. It's so good. I haven't placed my order yet, but I think I'm getting this one and the next one we're going to talk about. But if anybody has anything to say about it, like if it sucks ass, I don't know. I might not listen to you, to be honest, because I'll form my own opinion, but it'd be good to know. And finally, from the absolute chads over at Big World Pictures, a film entitled Distant. 898 left in stock, with some other really beautiful like watercolor type artwork here. Mahmoud is a relatively successful commercial photographer who has been struggling to come to terms with a growing gap between his artistic ideals and his professional obligations. Boy, I wonder what that's like. His tedious workload, coupled with the lingering loss he still feels for his ex-wife. Oh, newly married and on the verge of leaving Istanbul for Canada. That sucks, man. Leaves Mahmoud clinging to the melancholic and obsessive routines of his solitary life. Oh, this sounds like a barrel of laughs. This is a lot. There's a lot of plot that you're describing. Speaking of coverage of the screening at Cannes, I guess, and a video essay. So that's pretty cool. I'm surprised it doesn't say so here on this page, but from what I was reading, this is very much like a modern take on like a Tarkovsky film, and I think it even references Tarkovsky in the script or in the film itself. But this is like a very like the ratings on this are super high, and it was just really highly acclaimed. This kind of art house slow cinema shit is like kind of my jam, especially from like underrepresented parts of the world, like Turkey. I've seen a few Turkish films, I think, but not a ton. And yeah, I really want this. I'm probably gonna order it like pretty soon. So that's that. In the description, there are links to my Letterboxd, Rate Your Music, and Instagram accounts, should you like to become a little bit more intimate in our relationship. Liking the video helps me out, as does subscribing, if you want to join our gay little film club. I am doing my best to foster an inclusive, thoughtful, and kind community here on YouTube. So thoughtful comments are highly appreciated, and I try to read and answer all of them. So I love interacting with my audience, and I would really appreciate your participation. In about 10 seconds, you'll see a link on the screen to watch my other Vinegar Syndrome videos if this is the kind of thing you're into, and I think you'll like those too. So please do me and yourself a favor and click on that link and check out some more of these videos. So with that, I will just leave you with Hail Vinegar Syndrome and Hail Satan. Bye.